morning. Salutations. Hey, food for thought. How many of you are actually going to go and participate in Black Friday? How many of you are going to go and overextend for Christmas? I'm just out of curiosity because I think that there has been a disservice from a lot of noisemakers. So this process that we've heard about SNAP is not just about SNAP, right? People didn't talk about Head Start. We didn't talk about fuel assistance, which supports rental assistance. We didn't talk about the economic impact to local Black and brown and minority businesses. And really that's going to bleed into corporate. Because when you look at the allocation of any group that is receiving support, there is an economic gain to the corporations, whether big or small. And out of all of that, how many of you are going to participate? It's just a curious question, because here that, again, and let us be clear on some details. So you probably heard that the federal government, two judges have supported, one in Rhode Island, but they're both Northeast, right? And they're both saying, hey, government has to release funds for SNAP. Here that we should never be advocating for these actual programs, right? We should be actually advocating for better conditions. What is already happening, and hats off to churches, organizations, people power locally who are trying to address the need. That is short term. Long term, there needs to be a conversation of how we remove people from these benefits, right? That used to be part of the strategy. There was never this mindset of dependency in there. And so when I hear people talk about the 40 million that have been impacted, when I hear people talk about the 210 million that is spent in our state budget on food inequities, that is just what's funded by the government. And that means that number is higher. I go, here, Dems, that there has to be a work around efficiency in a stringent budget government season for the next 5 years. Easy. What are we going to do? And again, registered Democrat, truly independent, believe in the issues, and will support parties that are talking about forward thinking and gain. Supporting the people. That movement has been gone. Again, this is about making people uncomfortable. There are people that are poor. We need to do our work. Short term, we need to figure out some resolutions, some solutions. And again, people power plus. But you can't then sit on your laurels. Again, I just shared about the impact, because all you guys have heard is SNAP. And I go, no, folks. And truth be told, people have still criticized the Democratic Party. So let me say this to the Dems. People are going to support you not because they like you. It is because you're the option of the check and balances. But like in any political cycle, that gives you an opportunity to address, because you can't say that the people who did support the other side and those that are silent, they see and they're questioning efficiencies. And when folks are questioning efficiencies, a good management team that's coming in got to address, right? A good team coming in has to address. And so I want you not to take advantage of the idea that you're the only choice for Americans, because that would be naive. What you should be doing is laying out the playbook, telling us how you're going to address some things, and telling the American people that this is not just about healthcare and SNAP, but this is about real checks and balances on a government that has 100% bulleted and not followed suit. So, salutations. Just wanted to give you a little bit of what I call fact-based. Everything I say, please look and research. And because the cycle is so new with information, and a lot of people will think, well, Godfrey, you're putting out what I call political positions. No, I'm fighting for the folks that have $8 of wealth versus those that have 250. I'm advocating for equality for everyone, regardless of race, creed, and gender, right? And so it's important that we keep mindful that advocates will continue to advocate. You may not like the tone, but I'm going to say to you that could be more about you than it is about the advocates. So we got to get this thing right. And there got to be a lot more noise and a lot more uncomfortable feeling and a lot more outrage of an administration that lies to you by way of video. Who does that? That's why they relinquished the AI so that they can have an excuse. And everyone has now also, before I depart, questioned what's happening with the technology. Y'all remember who was at the inauguration with the president? And then think about the platforms you question. Has anyone asked Apple, will they protect your information from the government under this administration? So I want y'all to have a blessed one. Understand that there will be a lot more coming. Enjoy the day. To my kings who watch football, get it, whatever state you're in. And let's go and have a blessed one. Reach out to someone who is less fortunate than you, because that's what's needed now. Support thy neighbor. Peace.